Good morning. It is Friday morning, the 19th of August. We woke up to mostly cloudy skies, but not quite as oppressive as yesterday. So it's a definite improvement. It is currently about 8:15. We picked up the anchor about half an hour ago. We didn't quite manage to sail off the anchor. I needed a little bit of help from them outboard to get me out of the lee of Strimson Island. But we did, and we're now out in East Penobscot Bay. My apologies. And headed east. We are headed for the Deer Isle Thoroughfare, which I have never transited before, and we have west winds again today, so it looks like we'll be in good shape to go through there under sail, which should be fun. And we'll try to get some pictures of the town of Stonington. Oh, that's what happens when you're not paying attention. We just almost snagged a lobster buoy. Well, I think we're okay for a minute. Yeah, Stonington, Deer Isle Thoroughfare. Oh yeah, so the winds are behind us. They're forecast to be 5 to 10, which is nice. There's no indication of any strong winds for the week, so that's good. But some wind most days. So we're doing almost 4 knots. Last time I looked, it was 3.9, and we should be across to the first buoy of the Deer Isle Thoroughfare in about 40 minutes. So we will, as usual, try to take some nice pictures along the way. Well, it's now about 8:45, and we've made it to the entrance to Deer Isle Thoroughfare a bit later than I expected, because the wind has dropped off significantly. But we're still making between 2.5 and 3 knots, and I'd rather keep sailing, of course. So we'll keep the sails up, at least for now. Naturally, if it looks like we're going to get into trouble in the thoroughfare, because it's kind of narrow, of course, we'll start the engine. We won't fool around with that. But so far, there's enough breeze to keep good way on. The autopilot is having no problem steering, so we'll continue on through. Well, we are past the town of Stonington, and it may not have been obvious for the filming that I did there, I was under power. Shortly after the last clip, the wind petered off, if I can use that term, and there was basically none. So we motored through the town, which is probably perhaps just as well. And but then as we got past the town, although we're still officially in the thoroughfare according to the chart, the wind came back up. So we put up sails. We're again wing on wing, although the headsail's on starboard rather than port. And we're doing between 3.5 and 4 knots, which is decent, certainly. So we'll continue along, and the sky is kind of clearing, so there's more sun, all to the good. So we are making our way across Jericho Bay, having left the Deer Isle Thoroughfare a while ago. It is currently about 11:30, and the wind was kind of dying a bit again. The speed went down below 3 knots, so I thought I'd break out the Doyle UPS, a lighter wind sail, although there's a process involved in getting it up. And so by the time it was up, I found that the wind had shifted, which was the possibility was in the forecast that it would go more to southwest. So I couldn't support the foresail, now the UPS, out on the whisker pole to starboard. So it's comfortably living to port without a whisker pole. It's not being blanketed by the Maine. And our speed is now up to 4.2 at the moment, and it's been over 4 pretty steadily. So we're going to continue along, and let's see. We're going to reach the entrance to York Passage, I think that's the name, on Swans Island in about half an hour, right about lunchtime. So we'll see you there. So the buoy that I just showed you a shot of is marked CP for Casco Passage, and it marks the eastern end of Casco Passage, which York Narrows kind of leads into Casco Passage. I think I called it York Passage before, but it's York Narrows and Casco Passage. Anyway, I'm not quite sure where we are now in terms of what this body of water is called. To my north is Blue Hill Bay, but I don't think it comes out this far. and we're not going up Blue Hill Bay. We're going to continue east. Our intended destination is the Cranberry Islands, so that'll be something else entirely new for us. The other shot that I just showed of some mountains is Acadia National Park. So and the Cranberry Islands are very close to the park. So that's that. I'm sorry I didn't get more shots of us going through Casco Passage, but naturally it was, it kept my attention. It is, as the name says, kind of narrow, and I was going through at the same time as a 42-foot sailboat, which I did get a picture of. I just jibed. I don't know if you noticed that. That was a pleasant experience. We both navigated the narrow passage at the same time without very calmly, you know, as if everyone knew what they were doing. All right, well, it's a bit over an hour, depending on conditions. By the way, we were getting about a knot of favorable current going through Casco Passage and York Narrows, which had us doing over 5 knots, which is another reason I needed to pay close attention to what I was doing. And we've lost that now that we've entered more open water. So we're down to, well, and the wind seems to be tapering a little again. And that jibe didn't help, so I have to see what's going on. See you in a bit. It's now about 10 minutes of 3, and we are entering a body of water known as Western Way, which is just off Acadia National Park, and the Cranberry Islands, and there's a famous harbor whose name I can't recall. We'll find out when we look at the charts. You know, the winds have come and gone a little bit, but they haven't quit altogether again since Stonington. So we've been making decent time. We're doing 4 knots now. I took down the UPS and went back to the reefing headsail because it was convenient to do it out in the ocean before I turned into this bay, where I had plenty of room. Because I haven't done it that many times, and it can be a kind of messy process. I have to pull the whole sail down into the cabin with me standing in it, you know, so and it flails around, and anyway, it's a mess. I'm glad I can't film it because it would be embarrassing. But anyway, we are gonna anchor somewhere around the Cranberry Islands. I have a couple of spots, potential spots in mind, and it kind of depends on who else is out there. It is Friday night, isn't it, or Friday evening? So it might be busier than it would be other days. We'll have to see. Sorry, lobster pot. All right, probably nothing again. No yakking until we drop the anchor.